And welcome back to the Elestrals Dallas Open 2025 Premier event. We have a very special match for you. We are about to cast the third place match to determine the placements of the prizing for this event. And this is going to be a matchup where you're going to see a lot of really big Elestrals hit the field really quickly. It's not going to be the slow, methodical game of inches that we have watched between like Aurora's deck, Swole's deck. This is going to be decks that hit hard, fast, and often.
It's going to be interesting seeing PurpleSnorlax in this game in particular because we did have that last game playing against Heal. You really have to adjust your gameplay style.
Right.
And so like you mentioned, this time we're going to be going hard and fast and we're going to be seeing these big Elestrals hit the field, whereas that wasn't really the strategy before. And it'll be cool to see it sort of chameleon itself into a different kind of deck.
Speaking of, here comes Winjin. Cast in defense position here. Are we making the blind call or do we have the Apollo already?
Well, when I spoke with PurpleSnorlax, he did say that I think just an insane number of blind calls. Turn one even he had made. So let's see if this continues.
Not seen a reaction, so
yeah,
I imagine probably not.
There's usually a point or a, oh.
I think we saw in a previous round PurpleSnorlax call Rabbit off of the Winjin, an attempt to spike it that way. Shield, unfortunately, not sufficient. But we'll have another shot at potentially going off as we collect more cards in our hand that make the top card known. The Apollo on the top might be able to do it just then. Frustrating part about this Winjin for people playing against it is it represents this threat pretty much every turn. Winjin into Winjin is full combo, for instance.
That's very true because you are in fact able to look at those top three, and I have seen that happen.
And Bunny into Bunny is a pretty big threat as well.
Yup. And here we go. That Bunny is not going to be challenged by either a PTA or a Gorgons. It seems like for a long time there was not a Bunny who could be sent out without being met by a poison-tipped arrow. But with that counter rune sort of falling out of favor, not being played as much, Bunnies have been allowed to run rampant again.
All right, we're going to switch these to attack. I think a Tsunami is the only thing that will prevent this. And the Winjin goes down.
Yep. All right, we see PurpleSnorlax going ahead and taking that damage, the Solar, and drawing. I see the Apollo in hand. We have the Resting on Your Laurels, getting rid of one of those bunnies. Ari's not too mad about a Resting on Your Laurels being used to get rid of a rabbit.
Said, yeah, I mean, a card that could be beating Pentair is not going to be doing it. Down comes Lumeru. This is kind of a frustrating card for Ari, who is playing probably one Twindra, one Pentair. These mills might actually matter, which is a little frightening. That Lumeru properly enchanted. Looks like we are going to try and go combat and hit in here.
And I have seen exactly that happen, where Lumeru has hit the Twindra, the Lumeru has hit the Doppelgator, and it's devastating each time.
Shield coming down, the Lumeru returns to hand. Pretty happy about that if you're PurpleSnorlax too. It means you have action on a future turn. But Ari, I think, correctly understanding that despite the fact that this Lumeru mill often doesn't matter, there's a pretty good chance that it does in this deck in particular. Applying pressure here, just trying to get to a position where they're never able to land anything that could theoretically contest the power of a Hydrake. Reenchanted Rabbit will look at the top of the deck. And we got some good ones. I see at least one back row rune.
I do want to see what those other two were so we can know if the Lumeru had been able to mill, what it would have gotten.
I know.
I think it was an Eddy that we pulled from the top. I saw blue.
Yeah, I thought Galaxy, but it could have been the tournament pack Twindra, which would have been really funny.
That would have been hilarious. I call Lumeru my god killer. He just is taking them all down without a second thought. And
I'm trying to get in for two here.
Yep, which is excellent.
Too good a shield to pass up.
Yep. With the two spirits on there, PurpleSnorlax, it seems like an equal trade. Ari also getting rid of a counter rune that, again, your bigger guys, they don't want to see it.
This is the thing about playing this Hydrake deck, though. All of these cards, the Shield of Achilles, the Resting on Your Laurels, these could theoretically deal with the Pentair. They're just not going to do so. Anything that is deployed from the side of PurpleSnorlax so far, Ari is like, yeah, fine. Ooh, this is a toughie. So we are going to get to grab the Tornadin here. I think we are probably putting the Winjin on top to prep for an Apollo next turn. That's a slow play, but it doesn't leave anything on field.
No, but unfortunately for Ari...
Yeah, I was wondering why we did that.
Yeah.
Hold up, we still have one more
an extra
activation.
one on there. Unfortunately for Ari, while not having anything on the field, that means that... Oh, just kidding, it's a Galaxy.
Yeah.
That is not Hydrake food.
And it kind of is, right? You get to go Hydrake into Twindra into Pentair off that. Let's see if we have it. Thumbing through the hand. No back row. Now or never, baby.
You might be right here. Instead it is Specterus.
This card is very Specterus food.
Yeah, yeah. That is one of the cards that you do not want to see. And with no back row, that means that Galaxy is going to be getting out of here. Although, to your point, it could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah, for sure. I will say, I'm kind of getting pilled on Hydrake just because of how many times we've sat here thinking, wow, if Hydrake comes down, he wins.
Right, this is crazy. And it looks like PurpleSnorlax did opt to put...
Wow, how'd he get that right?
Whoa, called the shield.
All right, we'll grab the shield, shuffle that sucker back in. I believe we are playing 2 Tornadgen, so we don't have to use the one that we added off the Apollo here. We can instead go for the one that's still in the deck, retaining the one in the hand for maybe an Ascension off of something like a Rabbit that lives a turn.
And thinning a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Not ever a bad thing to do. And this special ascension coming through, finally starting to get these big bodies on the field that, I mean, we talked about multiple times. Don't make us look silly. Finally, in turn, whatever this may be, we are getting there. And I imagine we are also going to see the effect of Tornadgen go off, meaning that PurpleSnorlax is going to be able to call out 3 cards in their deck and essentially at random add one of them to hand.
So as you can see, we're way down on spirits from PurpleSnorlax's side. A frequent pile for Tornadgen is Ambrosia, Kaufmel, and a third card.
Yeah, we have to go for the healing trifecta for sure on this one.
Where we were able to see... it's unfortunate that Well, let me start this phrase over. PurpleSnorlax is representing Solar Winjin in this 3rd, 4th place match, but isn't the only person who is playing the deck in top 16.
Although it's valuing those counter runes, which...
Going for the defensive ones here.
You know? That does make some sense, knowing what Ari is on.
Yeah. And Tsunami is a best case scenario.
That is a great one to get a lot of value. And, you know, there was an argument certainly to go for the healing cards, but PurpleSnorlax clearly is someone who has done the reps, and maybe they know at this particular point in this particular matchup, they need to be prioritizing the counter runes, and they haven't seen any for a long time, so that would make some sense to me.
With respect to the healing package, PurpleSnorlax isn't the only one representing this deck. Adam also made top 16 with this Tornadgen deck and was playing a Singleton Quackle, so that when revealing off the Tornadgen, you can pick Quackle, Kaufmel, Ambrosia, and always get a heal spell. This isn't something that PurpleSnorlax is doing. So as a result, there is a 66% chance you get a heal off of your Tornadgen, but there's also that extra chance that you are up the creek.
Yeah, I think that this is one of those where if Divine Healing felt a little bit better with Apollo, that could be an option. But
big turn time.
But it really doesn't. Okay.
So Ari's been really, really liberal with his use of these Hurricanes. Firing one against one individual card. Is it Hydrake time? This would be a killer Hydrake. No, we just want to ensure that we can get rid of the Tornadgen. We're going to do that by going for Eddie. That's kind of strange. Ends up paying out because now it's guaranteed, and there was maybe a chance that PurpleSnorlax added the Tsunami and then set a Shield of Achilles. It seems like Eddie would have been able to get over Tornadgen anyway with the Tsunami in the back row. It's one of those scenarios where, like, you expect your opponent next levels you by not setting the card you just watch them search. So you try to next level them by spending 3 to destroy it so you can guarantee the removal on the Tornadgen. But they next level you by playing 2 levels below where you are.
Yeah, the mind games going on right now, incomprehensible. We do see an Ambrosia coming out. Going to be getting us back up a little bit. It's so funny. Tornadin is one of those cards that I feel like I never see stick more than a singular turn.
It's wild that an 8-attack Elestral is like, well, it does die to Cryoblast.
Yep, yeah, the Cryoblast or...
All right, time to develop the Lumaru for the millionth time.
All
PTA?
Right.
Good PTA.
Oh,
That's a quality PTA. Not going to be able to get over the Eddy, not going to be able to mill. We'll be able to send it at the end step. PurpleSnorlax just kind of thumbing over the deck, unsure what they want to do.
I'm sure Ari is not looking to get burned by that mill. So
Ari's grip is huge. It is unbelievably large. I think 5 cards at this point. The Zeus coming down is something. It means the Eddy will go, but the Lumaru will also go, and PurpleSnorlax is now playing with 1 card in hand and 1 back row. So as the game state simplifies, I feel like Ari feels pretty comfortable with his position. Let's see what these mills are. They could be that Penterror.
So going to be taking a close look, keeping an eye. Oh.
All right, here we go. Ready? Let's see it.
Uh-huh. Here we go.
Gorg.
That's...
Oh, I think we're having a discussion of if we want to activate the effect of Lumaru or not.
I think that in this case, you absolutely... I can't think of a drawback here for PurpleSnorlax.
Maybe they think they're on like a rise from the ashes, but we haven't seen anything even remotely like that. For sure, you activate it here.
Into that. Okay. Oh, shield.
I mean, 3 cards you don't want to have to deal with, but you were, of course, looking for a Doppelgator, for a Twindra, for a Penterror.
Sure. The Nabi is sort of into this matchup, kind of a nothing threat.
Yeah.
We've seen Nabi simply sit in front of these cards before.
Always clears Windjin, never clears Tornadin.
But it does feel good to hit counter runes, obviously, even if we didn't get any of those big boss monsters that we were looking for.
Gonna go for the Ambro here. I wonder what the play is. Ari's hand is still stacked, but developed an Eddy, which is a really defensive Elestral. You know, it's reactive. So I'm hoping they have something to get in with. Spectaris, maybe. An aggressive Astrabbit. Something that makes sense from this position.
And we do have, again, for the second time, our 2 buddies from their different pantheons, both Zeus and Apollo on
Aggressive rabbit it is.
Yeah, you're right.
As for the effect, what are we looking at? It's unbelievable how much this Penterror deck has not found Hydrake, by the way.
Yeah.
We've cast like 2 games now of Ari today, and they haven't found it once. I guess they found one on the worst possible turn.
The turn after it would have been a thing. And that is probably even more devastating than if you'd never seen it at all.
I don't know what's going on. It was looking great yesterday. Today, it's just looked like bad Doppelgator.
Sometimes you just have those days, and
PurpleSnorlax down to 6 here, but never really in any sort of danger. Ari's deck is only explosive when you have a board built already. The ability to crash into existing Elestrals is important. And Kaufmel always keeps PurpleSnorlax a little higher than you would expect in these solar decks.
And with the Apollo and Zeus still in play, that gives us a lot of...
We're trying the Lumaru again.
Although it is a water-enchanted Lumaru.
Might be out of solars. We're down to 6.
We're not going to go milling this time, but we will instead swing over that rabbit. The back row here, I think, would feel a little silly to activate in this exact situation, depending on what Ari has in hand.
Well, PurpleSnorlax is at 5. There's maybe a situation where you can force out a bunch of necessary spirits and prevent PurpleSnorlax from like having the necessary solars to make a Kaufmel line happen. A really hard decision to make.
Yeah,
Tsunami probably the most frustrating card it could have been. PurpleSnorlax played around it by enchanting the Lumaru with the water, but didn't play around it in forgetting that Astrabbit just goes to defense.
Yes, which means that we might not be able to hit her with the Lumaru. Obviously, if that had moved to defense, it'd be a totally different story. But
Here we got to find an Eddy or something.
Yeah, or a Cryoblast. That's another one of those cards.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Tsunami did feel pretty bad. Eddy.
There he is.
There he is. We do have maybe a...
Is this worth a Gorgons to you?
Yeah,
Certainly not.
But that does maybe tell us that that's exactly what that is,
Yeah.
given the time.
You got to be careful, especially at this level, giving away any sort of nonverbals or ensuring you're kind of obfuscating your plays. Even momentary hesitations like that, thumbing through the underworld, can kind of show your opponent what you're working with. Going for a Zeus, I think, on the Astrabbit here to potentially play around a Shield and Attack Declaration Gorgons. Even a Tsunami doesn't do it here. So I imagine the Lumru will be going down.
And this is one of those situations where, well, we're still kind of
Shaking his head. There's not a good one here. Yeah.
Yeah, and if Ari does take that information of maybe that means that this is a Gorgons, that is Hydrake's least favorite card to see.
Oh yeah.
Although we are at 4 spirits, so
Yeah, we're not going to be able to get to Hydrake this game either.
the Hydrake.
One of these games, he's going to pop off.
Yeah. It really just depends on. Okay.
We're going fishing here. First up,
Yeah.
Apollo. Let's find a Cofmel. Nope.
No.
Ooh.
I
Those are
don't
3 good
think-
cards. Galaxy on top does answer the entirety of the board, but we got to get to it.
Although with Zeus, you know, you're able to get over basically everything, depending on what you have, as long as you have a guy.
Would be a great turn to develop a Cofmel. We'll take Elechick. Ooh, Elechick's rough too because it shuffles the deck.
Is Elechick an effect that you can opt to not do, or do you have to fail to find?
I think it is optional, but we've circumvented that by
yep.
just not enchanting it
misenchant.
properly.
That makes sense.
We're going over the Rabbit here, going for the Zeus Sync as well.
And
That's to play around what? It's a Lycoris, not a Leviathan. An Altar, maybe?
maybe?
That doesn't really play around Altar.
Yeah, but even at this point, I think that Altar is one of those counter runes that you would see a little earlier, not at 4.
Yeah. Are you here going from 3 back to 6?
Yeah.
To Snorlax's 3. This is a fine position to be in as the solar player. You're the person who has access to more healing than your opponent. But never feels good to look at an Ambro, a stacked grip, and a board that already trades for yours.
Although we know, probably, can assume that Galaxy is going to be the next draw here.
No, oh yeah, because we didn't shuffle. You're right.
We did not go into the deck.
Good call.
So we will at least be able to deal with this Eddie, although Navi.
Oh,
coming
that's
out.
disastrous.
Yeah.
That's the end of the game.
That is.
Oh, wow. Is that back row anything? Looks like no. Navi effect. We'll go grab a Doppelgator, and that's 3 into a 3 total. If we have a Tsunami, Doppelgator from hand, by the way. If we have a Tsunami, we can take it down to 1 remaining. And no, it was an Ambro set. Just sat on it a little too long. PurpleSnorlax going down in the first game, and Ari is 1 game away from walking out of here with that 3rd place Astrabbit. Okay, looks like PurpleSnorlax is going first, and I see the Apollo. Do we have the turn 1 Winjin?
It has happened so many times, and I think it's so funny that.
We're going Astrabbit.
Astrabbit, that works.
It's funny, but who knows if it's good or not. You go down to like 14, and in so doing, you give your opponent the easiest Cryoblast of all time.
Yeah.
I knew some people who were playing Golden Fleece and Cypromol in Tornadin just because they needed to hedge against the ever-present threat of Cryoblast.
It is just so expensive when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
It's like, is an 8 worth it? I don't think so.
Still has trouble versus Eddie. You know, there's a lot.
Yeah. However,
Speaking of Eddie would be crazy here.
yep, that is a prime Eddie target. And
Hey, there we go.
that's exactly what happened. We're going to be moving that Astrabbit into attack. And PurpleSnorlax does have a 1 set, which it seems like we are going to activate it into a Gorgons. This seems like... I mean, it really depends what the hand is, right? But it seems like a really early Gorgons when this is such a key counter rune into exactly Ari's list.
We haven't actually seen Hydrake yet.
That's
So it could be the
true.
case that PurpleSnorlax doesn't know that the Hydrake is coming. You better watch out.
Yeah, the Hydrake is always looming. Although, the top 4 players, they
have
to
to know.
evolve.
They have
yeah. So-
Even the most rudimentary scouting. And Ari's not particularly being secretive about this.
Oh,
If you
no.
talk to him, he's like, Hydrake's the best card in the game. I will represent Hydrake. It's like, I wonder what he's playing.
It's a mystery to me. But that Galaxy being the perfect answer to Eddie. I wonder if that was a top deck, because if it were me and I had that Galaxy in hand already,
You'd let the Ass Rabbit go. Yeah.
But, you know, we were able to have an attack bunny get damage off. Are you ready to get started? And it is happening.
Snorlax does not look particularly surprised by this.
Okay.
So here we go. Hydreic into the Galaxy.
Maybe we were prepared.
He says, no, it's me. It's me. And Snorlax goes, okay, whatever. Hydreic down. We're going to go into Twindra. Twindra here has to not be Water Enchanted. Sometimes you Water Enchanted to play around Tsunami, but here would change the math in a way that is really bad against the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Twindra into the Galaxy. Crashes the Twindra, triggers the effect, sends the Galaxy to the graveyard, and sets you up for an unbelievable Pentair play into the Astrabbit.
It is truly unfortunate that
that
looking
Gorgons
at that
would be so crazy.
It is just staring at us from the side there. And
boom. Is that a properly enchanted Pentair? Oh, wow.
Ari said, this may be my last game, and I am going to do this right
into
exactly.
PTA. No.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Oh, well. I mean, you are certainly going to take like 9 off of this. Your opponent's taking a lot in order to get through the Pentair line. You're taking a lot too.
Yeah, you're going to take all of that damage. You're going to pay an additional 3, so a total of 4 for this PTA. So that is 7 spirits of damage.
So here's a fun fact. Did you know that a properly enchanted Pentair will float?
And what does that mean?
So upon death, you can special cast any number of Hydreic and Twindra from your deck in attack position.
See.
I don't think we're playing another Twindra, but we do just get 2 Hydreic.
And that's the effect that we
That's wild. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that effect resolve.
And here he comes. It's happening. And that's beautiful.
Both Frost Enchanted. 1 Frost, 1 Water to play around Tsunami and Cryoblast as best as possible.
You know what?
That's too funny.
And you know what? If this is the last game that Ari is going to play today, what a beautiful celebration.
Going down swinging, baby.
Exactly.
And Snorlax like, this card has an effect? I mean, I'm thinking the same thing.
You and us both, my friend. There is...
Oh, that's a beautiful Hydreic there on the left, but I know you're partial to the newly revealed Hydreic.
Oh my gosh. I still can't believe the little blue tongue.
Me, I actually like the one that Ari's playing. I've pulled 2 Stellar Hydreics from the starter deck Pentair back when base set was first coming out, but I love the one that Ari's on. This is the Celebration Hydreic. I think the effect is printed on it, but it also says, thank you for helping make Elestrals what it is today.
Aww.
It's very cute. On a very cute Elestral as well. Kaufmal in defense position staves off the Hydreic onslaught, but will fall to pretty much anything here. An Eddie, an Ambrosia does not do anything, but we're putting back a bunch of Lycrises because we spent 9 in order to get this board made.
It is kind of funny having Ari do such a big turn. I feel like their spirits are a lot higher than
I would. Yeah, I saw 12 and I was like, 12?
Excuse me.
I sort of expected 4.
This is a very scary position for PurpleSnorlax, being only at 8. Ari having done big shenanigans already.
Edward. What is that?
Is that Pellet?
Look at Snorlax picking it up like, there's no way you're playing Verituka.
Verituka, thank you.
So this card, importantly, will destroy defense position Elestrals that it attacks. It does out this Kaufmal.
Does it?
I don't think it doesn't. I don't think the goal here is to use the effect to pop the Kaufmal.
I think Ari's
just want to get
having a good time.
Does Kaufmal have to be destroyed by paddle? It does. No. You can suppress that Elestral and destroy it. Oh my goodness, you're right. It does suppress.
Incredible.
Oh, wow.
I really do think that Ari is just like having a party. And
oh no, you're casting Rabbit into Verituka. That's the classic base set misplay. Oh no, it's misenchanted. Oh, this might be the end of the line for Snorlax. Just boy math coming home to roost in the Spirit deck. The Veritaqua about to eat this. Whoa, you can't expect a draw. You just cast an Ash Rabbit. No.
This Veritaqua has PurpleSnorlax shook.
Yeah, no. Sometimes you see a card and it tilts you so badly, you forget how cards work. And oh wow, this is so over.
This is wild.
Going to do what we can to ensure that these critters are going to connect. Going for the Zeus here on the Ast Rabbit, despite the fact that it's already checked by the Veritaqua. You don't want to get into a position where Gorgon's Gaze or Shield blows you out. Getting in for 3, putting Purple Snorlax down to 2. Going to have to be some combination of exactly Ambrosia's and linear play. Pretty unlikely. Not even Cough-Mel does it because Veritaqua is so crazy. What are we working with?
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think he's been done for a while. Okay, the Ambro's a good start.
The Ambro.
1 card left in hand. It's got to be the best card you've ever heard of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think what would be the best possible option here. Lavalith? I mean, we're not in Pyros.
I do not see any fire now.
This casting, this commentary, and this entire game are completely off the rails at this point. Just seeing what Purple Snorlax has.
We've got a Veritaqua out.
Look at the top of our deck before we scoop this one up.
Yeah, hey, let us know.
What do we got?
It is
Zeus, Elichik, Winjin.
Well, that would have been great.
Well, if we have a Winjin, I guess we can get Winjin to Tornadjin and then get Sorlited.
There
life savings.
Yeah, there is a chance that no.
Is it 3? So it would have to be Winjin, Tornadjin, and I don't know what we would search. It would have to be a heal spell on 0 spirits. It would just be an 8/2.
Yeah,
a handshake, and Ari makes it, takes home the beautiful Astrabbit 3rd place premiere in our 3rd, 4th place match with this unbelievable strategy. Finally getting to show off the Pantera when it matters most.
And properly enchanted, teaching us all that Pantera does, in fact, have an effect.
Back in the day, I was a certified Hydrake enjoyer, and I gotta say, I have quite literally never properly enchanted a Pantera.
Hello, everyone. We are here with our 3rd place finisher, Ari, who just took down this set. How are you feeling right now, Ari?
Amazing. Pantera got out. I cleaned house with it. Properly enchanted. Amazing.
Something that you don't really see a lot, the properly enchanted Pantera. I heard about this crazy, I wasn't able to see it, but I'm going to have to go back and see Pantera effect actually resolving. Can you walk me through that moment and how it felt to resolve that? How many times did that happen today?
So that specific moment happened twice. It was PTAing the Pantera. Not good. Not good at all. I Hydraked into the whale, the Galaxy, because it's a 5 attack. It can double crash into it. He takes 1. Then Pantera comes out. You smack for 3 or 2 or whatever, and you pay for PTA. That's 1. You pay out. That's 4. Hydrake and Pantera has already hit, and then Pantera bring out 2 more Hydrakes.
That's actually crazy. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I'm really curious what led you to playing the Pantera stuff in sort of like a 5Z strategy, because I think that hasn't been seen a whole lot. I think I've heard about it, but I haven't seen a lot. What led you to that conclusion?
Hydrake is like a sledgehammer. You just want to drop it down and just try and just beat face with it. And the only thing that stops it, besides Specterus, is counter runes. So you want to bait out those counter runes, find a perfect opportunity to sweep in with Pantera and take it.
That's crazy. I really like it as like a finisher option for 5s because I think that 5s can really struggle with that, given that the whole point of 5s is playing low to the ground, cheap costed stuff. So having that, you play through stuff with 5s and then you have a finisher is just like excellent deck building. Very, very cool. Just absolutely insane game from you. Congrats on the 3rd place finish. First ever in-person Premier tournament. How you feeling about the whole event? How you feeling about your run?
Amazing. Going 7-1 in Swiss, I did not believe it that I earned my spot. I clenched Swiss on stage 3 times. I feel I did a good showing for Pantera.
Oh, you got a highlight reel for all those moments, and you're walking home with some very, very cool prizing. So congrats again. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out, any testing partners you'd like to shout out before we close out here?
Yeah, Adam Adumadan for the Solar matchup. Played him so many times. That's what led me to the side deck choices in the match that I just won. There's Q, who is about to go up on stage. Rybot, who was I beat in top 16. Sansely, who lost to Q in top 16. And we have Perky, who brought us all together into our testing group.
That's wonderful. It's so wonderful to have a testing group and be able to lab these things out. So congrats again.